Rupert turns the meeting over to Obama to talk to Ailes, and Obama rips Ailes a new one, apparently, just loaded for bear, coming right at him. Why should we work with you? Why should we trust you? You've done this, you've done that, humiliating Ailes. That's an interesting thing because with the Obama administration, Fox takes a further conservative right-wing turn. This is where the real populism, the real nationalism, the real, you might even say, racist stuff begins.
Things don't last, Michael. We're all impermanent, despite what we sometimes think, right? What did Charles de Gaulle once say? There are graveyards filled with men that once thought they were indispensable. So that's an example. I want to bring up two things and get your reaction to them, because I obviously, full disclosure, I worked at Fox for about 3 years. I brought 𝗬𝗺 𝘕𝗁𝗀𝗄𝗃𝑖's show over. I don't know if you remember the old show.
Sure, of
I
course.
bought it from Maryland Public Broadcasting and Mr. 𝗕𝗁𝗀𝗄𝗃𝑖's widow, and brought Wall Street Week over to Roger Ailes. I pitched him on it. He liked the idea. He let me anchor the show before I entered the Trump administration. And so there were two things that happened that I want to get your reactions to. Thing number one was during the Obama campaign of 2008, the Murdochs and Roger Ailes met with Barack Obama and David Axelrod. They were coming pretty hard at him. And my question to you is, if you remember that meeting, do you think that had an impact and softened their stance on Obama, or maybe made it worse? And then the second thing I want to ask you about is the relationship with Donald Trump, because they allowed him to call into Fox and Friends every Thursday morning or whatever it was for years, but they genuinely did not like him in the beginning. And of course, they were defending Megyn Kelly in the beginning. And so I want to juxtapose those two things. How do these politicians have influence, if they do, on the Murdochs?
Okay, it's important to parse a couple of aspects here, and to separate the Murdochs and Roger Ailes. Roger Ailes was the longtime chief of Fox. He basically founded Fox, started Fox. Murdoch funded it, but it was always Roger Ailes' project baby. He was the guy, also a serious micromanager in everything. He created Fox. Fox exists because of Ailes. On the Obama meeting, and I'm not sure which meeting you're talking about. The meeting that I'm really familiar with, and which I first reported on, was again a little background here. Rupert Murdoch's family, his children, his wife, his children, were all in for Barack Obama. Murdoch, who has been a long time conservative, but always attentive to who's going to win, and conservative in a kind of a big C way, basically, not a populist at all. At any rate, Murdoch was under pressure from his family to support Obama, and quite inclined to do that, by the way. So, but the meeting that I know about was between, happened in New York, and it was between Obama and Murdoch, but Murdoch brought Ailes along with him. And that was a curious thing. Why did he do that? Okay. He had been unhappy with Ailes's political coverage. He actually, again, Ailes was deeply anti-Obama, had set off on a kind of, the birth certificate, the Muslim thing, all of that, which made Murdoch unhappy. But Murdoch is a kind of conflict averse guy. He was never going to say to Roger, who, by the way, was making him all of this money, don't do. Roger told me at one point that Murdoch really had never once interfered in Fox News. So he brings Roger along to this meeting with Obama. They have this, Rupert and Obama sit there. They have a nice conversation. And then Rupert kind of turns the meeting over to Obama to talk to Ailes, and Obama rips Ailes a new one. I mean, it's apparently, just loaded for bear, coming right at him. Why should we work with you? Why should we trust you? You've done this, you've done that. Humiliating Ailes. Now that's an interesting thing because with the Obama administration, Fox takes a further conservative right-wing turn. This is where the real populism, the real nationalism, the real, you might even say, racist stuff begins.
Mm-hmm.
So Rupert kind of, in a way, and it begins here, that Rupert put himself into a place that he actually did not want to be. He wanted to be less conservative, less right-wing. Instead, he got more conservative, more right-wing, with the effect that it further alienated his already difficult relationships with his children, and at that point, his wife.